Hello?
Hi
Yes.
there. Good evening, everyone. It is 8 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and start our start of term class meeting. It looks like we have a good group here. Can everyone hear me right now? Can you maybe just respond with where you're calling in from?
Maryland.
Great. Anyone else able to hear me here?
Yes,
Oh,
Chicago.
Okay.
yes, Chicago.
Indiana.
Excellent. Good. Okay, well,
Excellent.
we have
Good. Okay, well, we have
a couple more people
a couple
are
more people are
joining us, and now I'm getting
joining
some
us,
really
and now I'm
crazy
getting some really
feedback.
crazy feedback.
Could everyone do me a favor and maybe mute themselves and see if that helps? And of course, you can always unmute yourself if you have a comment, but that might help, I think. And I'm just going to, for attendance purposes, just sort of take note of who's here. But hopefully you can hear me and you can also see my screen. Is anyone having trouble seeing my screen? It should look much like your course homepage. This is my course homepage for the academic writing seminar, but you should be able to see that. Hopefully you can follow along. Anyone having trouble seeing the screen tonight?
I've never used this type of uh, conference type thing before, and all I see on my screen is the academic writing seminar, and then it just has like a little picture that shows some books.
And that is absolutely what you're supposed to be seeing. So is this Catherine? Is that who I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, Catherine, that's what you're supposed to see right now. So basically, it's what you're looking at is what is on my screen here at my computer, and that's good because we'll kind of go through the course together tonight. So welcome. Thank you again for taking some time out of your Sunday evening to meet here tonight, and hopefully we'll answer any questions you have and hopefully ease any anxiety that you're feeling about the course. I really am looking forward to working with each of you. We've had some great email correspondence already with a few of you, and I think this will be a really fantastic 7 weeks. I have been teaching this course for, I think, around 3 years now. This is actually the first time I've taught the course in this new kind of iteration. It just came out during the first fall session. But after looking over the course, I'm actually really excited about it. I got to be involved in some of the planning and have heard really great things after that first run just a few months ago. So I really do think it's a good course. And over the time that I have taught the course, I've had some students who are maybe a little reluctant at first, but at the end of the course, I've never had anyone say that they regretted the time that they spent working in the academic writing seminar. I get wonderful feedback for the course itself and how it helps develop writers, and it's just a really really great thing. So I think that I'm glad you're here, and I think that after you are able to kind of see the fruits of your labor here during the next 7 weeks, you'll be really glad that you are in the course also. um, I want to let you know just quickly, I have sent a couple of emails now, and so you should have my email address as well as my phone number. And these are ways that we'll communicate over the 7 weeks here to come. I check my email very consistently. If you email me, I promise I can almost guarantee, I should say, that I will get back to you within 24 hours. So know that that is kind of the first way to get in contact with me is via email. But I'm also more than happy to set up a phone call if you ever are having questions about something or just struggling with a concept or an assignment or anything like that. I'm happy to set up an appointment to talk to you directly on the phone. So please take advantage of that at any point during the course. Also, another way that we communicate with each other is via the feedback that I give on your writing assignments. Um, And I do spend time to give you thorough feedback that will hopefully really help you develop as writers. So I hope in return you'll read that feedback and make that part of the communication that we have with one another. And not to overwhelm you, but I also like to send kind of a weekly email to my students. Just usually I send them on Thursday, and I just kind of give a little bit of an overview about what we're doing, where we're at, and also any assignment that might be due coming up. So lots of ways that we can communicate with each other, even though we are doing this all online, we still have some great opportunities for communication. I do ask one thing, because this is a writing class and because you're all in grad school and because I think it's really important, I ask that when you email me, that you really practice your professional writing skills, that you really take it, use it as an opportunity to really just sort of pay close attention to the sentences that you're composing, and use it as another form of practice. I certainly don't want you to be intimidated when you send an email to me, but I would ask that as a courtesy you take some care in the emails that you send. So I know I muted everyone because of the feedback. I'm going to try to unmute everyone now in case anyone wants to chime in or has any questions at all before we keep talking here. So you're unmuted, and we have several more I see that are calling in from Illinois. Okay, good. It sounds like we're so far so good. I wanted to quickly just talk about the textbook that you'll need for this class. And if you indeed can see my course homepage here on your screen, which hopefully you're able to, you'll see a blue book pop out in that picture there. And that is what the APA manual looks like. And that is the one textbook that you do need for the class. I'm just curious, has anyone, have you received this textbook? I know it's available online also. So do you guys have the textbook? Is that something that you've been able to find easily?
Yeah.
We have to get it for one of our classes, so I have to purchase it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I bought an online copy.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's not a hard one to come by. It's a really useful manual. I'm glad to hear you're using it in other classes. That doesn't surprise me at all. Basically, throughout your time at the Chicago School, this will be a manual that you will refer back to all the time. So it will be well worn by the time you're through here. And I love that it's the textbook that we use for this course, because it really just helps you to get to know the APA format and the APA, the manual itself. And so as you're going through your classes, because each and every class you'll be doing some writing for, and you'll always have this one book that you can always refer to for questions and for guidance as you write. So I think it's money well spent. So just keep it close by. You'll use it often. I often will tell students that the APA format, which is part of what this manual includes, can seem really overwhelming sometimes because it's so very detailed. But the good news is it's something that you would never be expected to memorize. Rather, you just need to know where to look things up. And so that's part of the beauty of this course, is that we'll just dig right in and start using that APA manual, and you'll really get to know it and be able to find answers throughout this class, but also throughout your time at the Chicago School. So just a quick celebration, I guess, that that's in your hands now. So that's good. If you haven't gotten it yet, you can click on the link here that I'm pulling up to order it. I think that's an Amazon link, actually. But really, most bookstores carry the APA too. Let's talk just a little bit about an overview of the course. I like to remind students that you do need 80% of all the points possible in the class to pass. It's a pass-fail course. I know you're in graduate school, and I don't think it will be any trouble to pass this course. And I know that you're all here because you're kind of the overachievers and the ones who get stuff done. So that shouldn't be any point of concern for you at all. So the class has 80 points, and you'll need to turn in your assignments and get 60 points of the 80 in order to pass the class, which I don't see as being a problem at all. Due dates for the course, we will have a short assignment due every week. They will always be due on Sunday evening at midnight. But I do want to let you know that I'm flexible. I just, again, keep in good communication with me. I know you're busy. I know lots of you are working and in school. I know that things come up. You know, you might have a family. So there's all sorts of things that can come up in a block of 7 weeks, and I want to do my best to be understanding about that. So just let me know. I think communication is key. And if you see something in the future, or something that you just need to maybe put off an assignment for a little bit, that's completely fine. Just make sure you make me aware of it. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about the actual assignments here in a moment. But any questions right now as far as just a basic overview of the course? And like I said, we'll get into the nitty gritty here in a second, but I just want to make sure everyone's doing okay here. So I've unmuted you, I think. Any questions at this point?
I had one.
No.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead, Courtney.
Yes.
Did you have a question? Was that Courtney or?
Oh no, I don't have a question.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Is Catherine?
Oh, Catherine, you had a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can find out what I did on the paper we had to do this past summer so I can see where I need to improve on?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm really glad you asked that question. I'll talk a little bit more about assignments here in a moment, but one of the very first things that I will be doing this week is going over those, that writing the placement tests that you took, those, was it 500-word essay? I have all of those, and I will probably Monday or Tuesday look over them and give you specific, detailed points of your needs, the places that you need to improve. So we will address that particular essay, and we'll kind of look at the themes that emerged in that essay and the areas where you can improve. And then I will tailor an individual assignment actually just based on that very essay so that you'll have a better idea of the areas that you in particular need work. So I think that actually is a really helpful assignment.
Yeah, because I mean, unless we know where we went wrong or what we did right, I mean, it's kind of hard to try and go into this blindly.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's actually I think a good point too. This class, it's called a seminar, and I think sometimes it helps if we kind of look at it as a seminar or a workshop. We can all improve on our writing. I've been a freelance writer and editor for the last 10 years. I have a master's in literary writing, and I still need people to look at my writing and say, hey, I'm seeing this pattern. You need to work on that. That's why just writing is often a collaborative process. And if we can all kind of approach it like that, I think we can really get a lot out of this course. There's certainly some rigidity in grammar and punctuation and other aspects of writing like that. But it's also something that is really fluid and something that we're constantly kind of learning new tricks of the trade all of the time. So I really want to support you and your individual kind of journey as a writer, especially as an academic writer, as you find yourself here in grad school. And hopefully this class will really give you some tools that you can just take with you and apply to absolutely every paper that you write from here on out. That's sort of the hope. But yeah, I don't want you to think I'm going to go through with a great big red pen and make you feel bad about your writing. That is certainly not the case at all. It's a really great support, I think, for you. This class is it's going to help you in the areas that you need help. All right, let's talk actually about what we will cover. I sent one of the emails I sent a document, just an overview of the class, and it's also available somewhere on here. I put it in the announcement section, and then I believe there's a couple links on this course homepage as well. But on the overview, it gives you first just kind of the spiel about the course. Talks about due dates and grades and all of that sort of thing. And then the second part of the document is just a grid that will show you in each of the 7 weeks what we're doing. The first week, we're going to start really kind of the basics of thinking about the ways we communicate, the thinking, the speaking, and the writing. And it's just really kind of starting at the ground type of units. So it'll just kind of get us started thinking about who we are as thinkers and speakers and writers, and how we can improve, which areas we're comfortable with and which ones we need to work on a bit more. The second week, the topic is working on translating our thoughts into effective sentences. Because a lot of us, I mean, let's face it, we have great ideas, but sometimes we can't quite articulate that idea in the form of a sentence. It seems like a really basic thing, but it can be tricky. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, when we group sentences together, we want to have some variety so that our paragraphs, therefore, are interesting and make sense and are effective. We'll talk about complex sentences and the overall structure of a paper. You'll be writing long papers in grad school, and so we're really going to break it down. We'll talk about writing at the sentence letter, at the paragraph level, and then also just the whole assignment structure and assignment level. So that will be interesting. And then when we get into week 4, we'll talk about just different ways of communicating and how we can logically present our ideas, talk about the different types of writing, if it's persuasive writing, just the ways in which we want to communicate to our readers. Later, we'll talk about different points of view and perspective. We'll talk about sources. We'll talk about citing our sources. We'll talk about ways that we can ensure that we're not plagiarizing as you're writing about your research, which is something that you'll obviously be doing. And then, too, those really basic rules of punctuation and grammar. We're going to talk about that kind of towards the end of the course. And as I said, I do this for a living, and it's still, things that I need to look up. Do I need a comma there? I'm not sure. I have to look up that rule. So we can always grow in that regard. And really, too, a lot of students kind of laugh about how long it's been since they've actually studied grammar rules. And it's, not always the most interesting topic. They don't necessarily miss that instruction. But once you're at this level, I think you really start to appreciate how important it is. So that's something else we'll cover in the class. So that's what we'll be devoting our 7 weeks to, sort of in a nutshell. And what we'll do, I want to show you now the the way the course flows, and hopefully this will be kind of familiar to you if you've used Canvas before. But we'll go through the course kind of broken up in weeks, but also we'll call them modules. So I'm clicking here on my computer and I'm going to look at the first module, and that's where we're at starting really tomorrow morning at the beginning of the course. You'll read sort of an overview of the week or that module, and then you'll engage in a lesson, and we'll have our first writing assignment. As I said, writing assignments are always due that Monday or Sunday night at midnight. And the first week, so you'll go through this module, you'll read all of the information that you're asked to read here, and then you will compose a 300-word essay that will just be your reflection of this week's reading. And I have to tell you that this is the only time that you'll actually be coming up with something new for this course. Out of all of your assignments, this one is something new, and the rest of them will all be assignments you're either working on for another class. It could be your entrance essay if you want to use that. It could be for an assignment you had last, just any time in your past. So this week you'll write a new essay, but every other week you're going to be writing or using material that you've already written. So hopefully that will ease your mind about some of the workload, I guess, for the class. You're not going to be composing anything new after this week. And just to give you an idea, a 300-word essay is about 1 page double spaced. So, again, it's a workshop class. It's meant to help you in all of your other classes. It's certainly not meant to drag you down or stress you out or make you feel like you don't have time for your other courses. So that's basically how the modules work. You'll have reading, and then you'll have the assignment. You'll upload that. I'll respond to it and give back my feedback to you. Any questions about the basic assignment kind of procedures, what's expected? Do you understand what I mean when I say, this week will be the only week that you'll actually write new contents?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. Does that ease your mind a little bit about the workload for the class?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. Great. So that will happen every Sunday night. I'll get an assignment for you. And then there will be 2 times throughout the term. And I was kind of addressing this when I was speaking to Caroline's question earlier, where I will come up with an individual assignment for you. So like I said, on Monday or Tuesday of this week, probably Tuesday, you'll get a specific assignment from me, and it will just be I'll ask you to do a few exercises from the actual textbook, and I won't actually even ask to see those exercises. I'll just ask you to write a little bit about just kind of your reflection on doing those exercises. So that shouldn't really it should be really great in that it's very specific and tailored to you. I think those are going to be really valuable exercises. That'll happen twice. It'll happen during week 1 and week 4. And both of those times I'll take a look at your writing and I'll say, oh, this person really needs to work on these few things, which might not necessarily be covered in the regular course material. And that will be your opportunity to do so. And again, I'll ask you to do the exercises, and you'll complete those and just kind of give me a little bit of feedback about how they went and whether you found them valuable or not. Okay, so yeah, if you follow the modules, you're going to be in great shape. Any questions about Canvas and how that actually all works with the modules? I'm thinking probably you're familiar with Canvas, but does anyone have questions about, where to go to find the week's reading or where to go to find the assignments?
Not at this time.
Okay. I hope I don't have you all on mute. No, I don't. Okay, you're just maybe not having questions. Okay, that's fantastic. Feel free to interrupt if you do. I just have one more thing I actually want to cover during this meeting. And here you can see I've on my screen have pulled up the course overview. And this, again, as I said, it's available within the course homepage. It is in the announcement section. And I also emailed it to you as an attachment. So I'm just using this as an example of how to use track changes. And I want to make sure that you're familiar with track changes for this course, but for others as well, because this is something that other instructors will use. But if you're not familiar with track changes, that is perfectly fine. I just want to make sure that you learn how to do it so that you can utilize this function in the course. So in order to turn on track changes, you will, let's say you'll be at this document, and I'm on a Mac right now. I should point that out. So it might be a little bit different for you if you're on a PC, but it should be really, really similar. And I'm just going to go to the review section, which I think you can also find somewhere else if it's not right there, if you need to. But my track changes here, they're off. I'm going to turn them on. I'm going to show the markup of comments, insertions and deletions, formatting, highlight area, just everything. I want to check everything. If I unclick it, it takes that away. So I want to make sure that everything is turned on. And then what you're going to see is that every time I make a change to a document, it actually tracks that document. So let's say we wanted to change the name of Academic Writing Seminar and we wanted to call it the Academic Writing Workshop. Here you would see that it has actually it showed what I deleted. I deleted seminar and I added workshop. Maybe I wanted to change a date. And so let's see, actually class started tonight officially. And maybe, I want to add a comment. And so I'm going to go up to comments and say, this is, a great, where'd it go? This is a great heading. So that's what track changes are. I know you've all seen them, but I just want to make sure you know how to do them for this course. When I respond to your work, I will use track changes all over the place. And then also when you are doing some of the assignments, it will ask you to do the track changes so that I can see what improvements you're making. So let's say you had your entrance essay and I asked you to edit it after, let's say we covered a unit of punctuation and sentence structure, and I asked you to go back through that document and fix all of the punctuation. Well, I would ask you to use track changes because I'd want to be able to see what you've learned and that, you actually, this student is right on track with the changes that they're making. So track changes is definitely something that we'll use. A lot of times it's new for people. They'll, have seen it before but not done it themselves. So familiarize yourself with that function. You can find, just Google it, look on YouTube. There's some really good tutorials if you don't figure it out as you're kind of playing around with it in a Word document. All right, I think we've covered everything. We've talked about how to communicate with one another. The textbook, we've kind of talked about the overview of the class. We have gone through assignments, the deadlines, and the modules and how those work. I told you about the weekly assignments as well as the individual assignments. And then we talked about track changes. So I think that's all that we need to cover tonight. I would love to hear your questions before we sign off here officially. So let me know. Do you have questions? Are you feeling stressed about the course? Are you feeling okay about the course? Take a moment and talk to me here.
Is this track changes only available through like GoToMeeting or Canvas, or is that like a Microsoft Office tool?
No, it's in Word. It's in Microsoft
Okay.
Word. Yep.
Okay.
So regardless of what computer you're using, it's always a function of Word.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Good question. Sure. Any other questions or concerns about the course? Things you're looking forward to?
It seems that right now, we're already halfway through and we have so many papers to do. It's just like another stressor at this time.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I guess one thing I can tell you is that you can use this course as kind of a, how would we say it? Like, it's not really I'm certainly not providing like an editing service or anything like that. But as your instructor, if you're using parts of papers that you're writing for another class right now, I mean, together we can make those really look great, I think. And so, anytime there's an option in this class of turning in some work with having applied the things that we're reading about and talking about, take advantage of that and definitely, submit something that you're already working on anyway. And that's one way, that you can kind of maybe feel like the timing of the class is in some ways going to benefit you, if that makes any sense. Like I said, I
Yes,
think
it does.
it's a good class, and I think that taking the time to think about some of this stuff now, um, in the long run is going to be it's going to make your life easier. Some of the struggles that you might have when you sit down to write a paper, if we can kind of overcome those within the next 7 weeks, then you're going to have, another good couple years that you'll be able to benefit from just these 7 weeks of more intense study. So I hope you can kind of look at it like that. I really do feel like students come out of this class feeling like it is of benefit, and it really it's good timing in some ways in that you're taking it early on, and you'll always be writing papers, and so I think it's good to take the time now to kind of alleviate some of the problem areas or just get stronger as writers so that you can apply that in the work that you do coming up as well.
Thank you.
Other thoughts or concerns or questions at this point?
Yeah. When would we know if we pass or not? Would we know at the same time, like with our other courses, or is there another date?
I That's a good question. I think you would know at the end of the actual term. I think that you would know right away.
After
Okay,
each,
because I know because on-ground courses are done on December 7th.
Mm-hmm.
But this course will be over by the 14th, right?
Yes. Yep. And I think that the turnaround on the grades for me is pretty quick. So yeah, I'm thinking you would find out, before Christmas, before the 25th, I want to say. If not exactly when
Okay,
your
that's
other
good.
grades come out, then you'll know shortly after.
well,
Okay, thank you.
after each module,
Uh-huh.
you let us know how many points we got per per module?
Yes, absolutely. I'll include that
So
in
we
the
can do
feedback that I give you. And you can kind of keep track of how you're doing in the course that way. And when you hand something in by midnight on Sunday night, I will have that back to you by the end of the week for sure. I try to grade as quickly as I can while still giving you, enough attention. But yeah, you'll see my comments, you'll see your grade well before you're diving into the next week's homework assignment.
Okay, so just for instance, after week 1, we hand it in and say we get an 8 out of a 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, 8 out of a 10. Now we already know we're 16 out of 20, so we can almost guess even before the last one is due approximately where we're at anyway.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yep, exactly. All right. Well, it doesn't sound like there's any other questions. And if there is, again, please email me. Email me if you would like to set up a phone call and we can talk through your question. As I said, I'm really happy to do that. And I think it's a great course. And I kind of sense that some of you maybe are a little bit nervous about getting everything done. And I totally understand that this gets to be a very busy time of the year for people. Um, but I think you'll find that you'll get into the swing of things in this course. It's pretty predictable. Um, it's pretty straightforward, I think, and I know it's just hugely beneficial. Students come in feeling a little tentative about their writing and they just leave with a lot more confidence, and it shows up in their work. So I think the work we do here is really great. And I truly think all of you you'll do amazing in the class. It should be a really great experience. So my door is always open. Please let me know if are having any questions or concerns, or um, if you need any adjustment with due dates or anything like that. But I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and working with you this term. So thank you. I know it's no small thing to take this much time on a Sunday evening, and I appreciate you being on this call. So we'll have a great term. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.